Somewhere right now, someone is watching an AI demo with a very powerful phrase attached to it. It works over your documents. Or it can answer from your knowledge base. Or, if the room is a little more technical, it uses RAG. The promise is appealing. Instead of asking a model to answer from whatever it learned during training, the system can look at your policies, manuals, support docs, tickets, contracts, notes, and internal knowledge. That sounds like the moment the AI stops guessing and starts using receipts. Sometimes that is exactly the point. RAG gives the model a way to bring receipts into the room. The catch is simple, someone still has to check which receipts arrive. RAG stands for retrieval-augmented generation. The pieces are less scary than the phrase. Retrieval means the system searches for relevant material. Augmented means the system adds that material to the model's context. Generation means the model writes the answer. So the plain English version is, before the AI answers, it goes and gets a packet of outside information. Then it answers with that packet in front of it. A model equipped with that packet can use information that may live outside its training data, company documents, product details, current policies, private manuals, new research, support articles, and material that changes over time. The important part sits in the middle of the chain. What did it retrieve? Think of RAG as a librarian plus a note packet. The user asks a question. The librarian runs into the stacks, grabs a few pages, and hands them to a writer. The writer uses those pages to draft an answer. That is much better than asking the writer to rely only on memory. It also means the whole system depends on the librarian's search. If the librarian grabs the wrong page, the answer can still sound confident. If the librarian grabs an old policy, the answer can still sound official. If the librarian grabs a paragraph that uses the same words but answers a different question, the answer can still sound relevant. Supply quality becomes answer quality. Here is the simple math. First, documents go into a searchable collection. That collection might be a vector store, a search index, a database, or some combination of systems. Before search works well, the documents usually have to be cleaned, split into chunks, and converted into representations the system can compare. Then a person asks a question. The system searches the collection for pieces that seem relevant. Those pieces are added to the prompt as context. The model reads the question plus the retrieved context and writes an answer. That answer may show citations or source links. From the outside, it feels like one AI reply. Under the hood, it is a chain, question, search, retrieve chunks, context packet, answer. Every link matters. Imagine a company builds an internal HR assistant. The goal sounds reasonable. Employees should be able to ask questions about benefits, leave, travel, reimbursements, and company process without digging through a maze of PDFs. So the team connects the assistant to a document library. The library contains this year's approved benefits handbook, last year's handbook drafts, HR training slides, manager FAQs, and copy policy snippets inside onboarding docs. Now an employee asks, how many weeks of paid parental leave do I get? The current handbook says 12 weeks, but an older FAQ says 8 weeks, and that older FAQ has the exact phrase, paid parental leave, in the title. The retriever grabs the old FAQ first. The model answers clearly, employees receive 8 weeks of paid parental leave. It even cites the FAQ. From the user's point of view, the answer looks grounded. From the system's point of view, the chain worked exactly as designed. Search found a relevant-looking document. The model used it. The answer cited it. The human problem is that the wrong document won. RAG in the real world looks exactly like this case. An answer that is well written, properly cited, and operationally wrong because the wrong document won the search. That case study should make RAG sound fragile. Fragile systems can still be useful. RAG solves a real problem. Models are trained on finite data. They need help with private, current, and domain-specific knowledge. That might mean a support bot using the latest troubleshooting guide, a research assistant searching a source library, an internal tool reading the actual handbook, or a coding assistant pulling project-specific context. The value is practical. The model can work with material that belongs to the task at hand. The design job is making sure the right material reaches it. The case study also shows why citations can fool us. A cited answer feels more trustworthy. That instinct is healthy. We want sources. We want receipts. We want to know the answer came from somewhere. But a citation starts the trust process. It cannot finish it. If an assistant says, employees receive 8 weeks of paid parental leave, and links to an HR FAQ, the source link has only started the real question. You still need the next layer, whether the FAQ is current, whether it is approved policy or training material, whether a newer handbook overrides it, and whether the cited section supports the exact claim. The citation gives you a handle. You still have to pull on it. The big lesson is this: retrieval and truth are separate jobs. Sometimes the right source never entered the collection. Sometimes the source is there, but the chunks separate the answer from the context that makes it accurate. Old and new policies can live side by side. Drafts, duplicates, and copied snippets can crowd the search results. A question can sound like one topic while the user's real situation belongs to another. And when the retrieved context is weak, the model may smooth over the gap with confident language. So the system question becomes less glamorous and more useful. What did the retriever hand to the model? If you are evaluating a RAG system, ask for the retrieval trace. For the HR example, that means you want to see the source list behind the answer. Which documents came back first? Which version dates were retrieved? Was the current handbook present? Did the old FAQ outrank the approved policy? Did the answer quote the source or merely gesture toward it? That one trace can tell you more than a polished demo. A polished answer shows the writer. The retrieval trace shows the supply chain. And in RAG, the supply chain is where many failures begin, long before anyone starts debating the quality of the writing. Now go back to the HR assistant. The fix is better source governance for policy work. The fix is to design the library like the answer matters. The current handbook should be labeled as approved policy. Old drafts should be archived or excluded from employee-facing answers. Training slides should be marked as supporting material. Every source should carry a date, an owner, and a status. If two documents conflict, the assistant should have a rule for which source wins. And if the system finds an old FAQ before the current handbook, that should show up in testing before an employee ever sees the wrong answer. Fixes like these are why practitioners call RAG a systems problem. The model is only one piece. The quality also lives in the document collection, the chunking, the ranking, the source labels, the refusal behavior, and the review loop. When those pieces are invisible, everyone debates the answer. When those pieces are visible, the team can repair the system. Here is the Monday morning version. Before you build, buy, or trust an AI over our docs tool, make a tiny retrieval test. 10 questions is enough to start. Write the expected source before you test the AI. Include ordinary questions, a current versus old version trap, a similar document trap, and one question where the honest answer is, the docs do not say. Then score the retrieval before you judge the writing. Did the right evidence arrive? Did the system expose enough of the trace for a human to inspect it? Did it handle missing evidence cleanly? You are testing the shells before you trust the answer. RAG is one of the most useful patterns in practical AI. It lets a model work with specific knowledge drawn from the task at hand. It can make AI answers more current, more grounded, and more relevant. But the real operating question is plain. Show me what it retrieved. The human job is checking whether those receipts can carry the claim. Keep the system human. If this helped untangle the system, hit like, subscribe, and follow Archive of Worlds for more field guides to the systems shaping work, money, tech, and everyday life. Keep the system human.